Good day, everybody. Brian here from quantlabs.net. I just wanted to say thanks for watching yesterday's video on just this. I'm just testing everything on YouTube right now. So I did put out that video, Modern Career Advice for HFT CPP Path, C++ Path for $2 million jobs. So they exist um, off public. I'm sure those compensations are probably in excess of $1 million. That's the video to watch to learn more about that. So I got two comments that followed up. Great enlightenment session. Keep doing this. So my response is that's all fine, but I want to make this moving forward to make it more user generated. So I'm just responding to these two comments. So there's a variety of things I can talk about. And we'll just see there. If you got a comment, what you want to ask, please ask away. Just really depends upon how YouTube treats us and if these videos I put out get distributed. So, anyways, here's a question I got or a comments with questions from somebody named Coldy4269. So he said, amazing. This is about that video. Amazing video. Learned a ton. As a German student myself, I think that honestly, nothing in Europe can even hold a candle to Oxbridge when it comes to quant recruiting. Here's my thing about Europe and England as well. Well, England somewhat. There are some really well-known schools there. You sound like you obviously know better. But when it comes to continental Europe, I can't really I can't really say. But what I will tell you as a reference for a good website that really focuses on this for quant trading, algo trading, and hiring and career path, it's called quantnet.com. So it's quantnet.com. It's as old as what I've been doing as well. They have a study that they put out, the top schools in the US for algo trading. It's a survey. You might be surprised on the results. So again, what I put out is opinion, not fact. Now, when it comes to Europe, I can't tell you which schools are good, but I'll answer this guy's question. Looking at LinkedIn, it seems that ETH is not much different than TU Munich or even University of Warsaw, Bucharest, and the number of successful grads in HFT. I think that survey at quantnet.com kind of covers that. It's a survey that goes out to all the forum members, which are in the thousands. So a lot of them are probably already in school and coming out of school as well, graduating, and they're just saying and ranking their school of choice in the US. Of course, as a first year computer science student, my knowledge on the topic is non existent compared to yours, which is why I'm very curious why you specifically mentioned ETH Zurich. That school just seems to be well known. Now we're going back quite a while. There's LSE as well, London School of Economics. I remember that was fairly notorious for uh, pumping out quant related students and so on and so forth. But I think what needs to be remembered is computer science probably will get you a job entry level, mid level, and if you choose to kind of get beyond that into more management or tech team lead, if you want to go after the lucrative jobs, as I said in that video, physics is the way to go if you're strong in math. Because of my great high school grades, I still have an opportunity to switch to ETHZ next year. So if it really is regarded much higher over the other institutions in continental Europe, I'll make the move. As I said, my opinion is not fact. I'm just basing it upon memory, but I don't know. I just remember that school is like right up there ranking. But again, I would go on to quantnet.com to get better research on that. I think that's probably the better place to go. So there's that. Which school to go to? You got a really good reference again, quantnet.com. I have nothing to do with it. They don't know me. I've just seen it. It's been around. And as I said, they do annual surveys on these schools, but it's US focused, but I'm sure there's a lot of mentions of other schools on there in Europe as well. Okay, so another video I did yesterday was regarding what sectors are moving, like uranium and inflationary agriculture. So I put up that video, as far as I could see, 13 hours ago. And the reason this is important to understand is my methodology seemed to work. I did tear sheets, I demonstrated, I did this style of video, and even made a prediction that they will raise rates. Well, here's how it boiled down to today's headline. Um, so I'm sure they're seeing what I'm seeing yesterday. When the markets tanked, certain products and ETFs related around those products spiked. Those are namely agricultural products. Wheat, corn, sugar kind of spiked as well. And it spiked, and you saw the trading volume hit those ETFs. So, what's today's headline? Fed's Powell says higher interest rates needed to curb inflation. Now, my question is, do you need quant to get that? No. Based upon my own calculations, it's just purely ranking and what's performing at that time. You don't need to know quant. So imagine if that this is the Federal Reserve now, the chairperson, I should say, Powell, Jerome Powell, came out with this headline and quote. So it says the timing of moves will be decided meeting by meeting. A period of below trend growth likely needed, Powell warns. And look at what's the market's going to tank. So imagine if I saw what I saw, but I didn't expect that kind of headline where they acknowledge this and go out publicly to say this the next day. Imagine if I lined up a bunch of shorts on those particular stocks. I probably would have made a nice profit overnight and today, because of what I saw. We know that there was a tech rally, and that's why I like using ETFs. Right now, I do ETFs and ETFs only, because they cover all the different areas in the economy globally and the US. So there's always, as I said, there's an ETF for that. So you don't need to play high risk. Well, I shouldn't say high risk, but futures market, options market that has this high like a margin requirement of a couple $100 per contract. ETFs don't have that. You're trading an ETF like a stock, and it's the fee is like a stock, a commission fee if you're on Interactive Brokers. So as it stands, that's why I focus right now on ETFs in this kind of crazy market. Um, and like I said, this system that's been built out in Python scripting, it goes out there and scans um, the equity space, be it individual stocks and ETFs as well. And I've kind of gone through that in detail in just the last week set of videos. So find those, understand how it works, because there's the tear sheets that generate that, and as I said, that's all 100% Python. So as I said, there's two career paths you can choose. If you think you're an all-star baseball player and you want to go in the big leagues and you want to make a lot of money, um, that's fine. And the likelihood of succeeding at that, well, think of like baseball or any uh, like football, as they say in Europe, or soccer, or anything like that. What are the chances of you really, really, really succeeding when it's ultra cutthroat as well? So that's one path you can choose to see if you can get in these type of positions. You'll be well compensated for it, but I just don't know each and every person's uh, motivational level. The other path you can go is doing the self-study. And what inspired me to do this was about 2008, 2009, when it came to the history of what I wanted to do. That was during the recession, coming out of career. Just didn't want to work for other people. And lo and behold, on a one of these big store uh, book stands, I found Dr. Ernie Chan's book, his first one, how to build a algo trading business in there. So I read that, and I'm like, wow, you can actually make a living out of algorithmic trading and doing it for a living and probably build wealth with it. So I didn't know who Dr. Ernie Chan was. I lived in downtown Toronto at the time, and I just found out when I went through and looked him up that he was originally from Toronto, so he was like a local. So he ended up at that current time living out in, so this is about 2009, 10. So he was living out in near Niagara Falls, Ontario, which is about 2 hours away from me. So over the years, I hooked up with him and I gave him my how I'm learning, all the he's a very receptive, open-minded guy. That's the amazing thing about him. So over the time, I got to kind of knew him and helped him out, and then I got two was it bylines in his two following books on the tech. So that was mentioned in his first edition of those books. So yeah, so my name is in there as a thanks for the technical teaching, I guess it was. So I had that kind of influence on this pretty well-known quant worldwide who's done extremely well for himself now. He's got the Predict Now AI website as well, so I'm imagine that's doing pretty good. I can't say, but it's been years since I've seen and had a real serious conversation with him. But that's where it started for me. So what I'm saying on that second path on the self-study and trying to do this as a business for yourself can be very lucrative if you choose the right path and know how to implement what. So that's a second choice. Now, I did talk about in that video about maybe building your own platform. Um, you can try to commercialize a trading platform, but it's very competitive, very cutthroat against the, if it's in the Windows world, NinjaTrader and the like. I'm sure it's very cutthroat. MetaTrader is another a good one as a standard. And now TradingView, which is supporting live trading. And that's a standard now. So that's a pretty hard metric to meet. So it's pretty cutthroat, but you can still kind of build your own trading platform. I know one called Algo Trader, I believe, built out of Switzerland. So they got a couple of $1 million feed seed investment a few last year, I believe, or last 2 years, a couple of $1 million. So they're commercializing what they're doing. They're doing okay. Um, also, there's a couple other platforms I can mention back in the day. Market Cetera, try to go open source. Um, Prac Play, which is still kind of around with the Glean, and that was back then. So building these custom trading platforms is tough, but you can build your own trading platform for yourself and try to build a small community to monetize it, so you can build out your own um, uh, self-sustain yourself, I guess. But the ultimate goal is what you got to choose where you want to go. Do you want to get a juicy job in HFT firms? Do you want to do self-study path and do trading on your own, or do you want to maybe somehow find a product you can commercialize and maybe a platform as an example? There's lots of other ones like QuantStart, um, Wilmont, lots of them out there that have done okay for themselves. So there's different paths. You got to choose what you want. I do know a lot of people want to get into algo trading for themselves and become a full-time trader. That's kind of what I specialize in now. So as I said, where I'm at right now, I focus on ETFs. I don't want to say the easiest, but out of all the asset classes, it's pretty well the biggest now. I mean, just look at, dare I say, BlackRock. They're managing, I heard 10 trillion, and it's now up to 20 trillion with the latest media release. If you haven't heard that, about that recruiter bragging about BlackRock. Um, Also, I just checked Vanguard; they're over managing 4 trillion. So these are big firms. A lot of that value is coming out of the world of ETF. So a lot of uh, pension funds will be using ETFs. So that's a huge, huge field as an asset class, if you want to call it that. On top of the good thing about it is that you, me, the little guy or little girl, I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but has the ability to get access to that through the retail markets. They're not rigged. You can treat them like a stock. There is a commission depending upon the provider. And you can all do that within your interactive brokers account. And better yet, now you can do that live trading with TradingView. The one platform I like a lot right now and have been using for a few years is MotoWave. MotoWave for me has worked out really well. Depends upon the edition you get, but the thing is with MotoWave, it runs on Linux, and that's a huge marketing advantage for them. It's written in Java. So if you want to kind of get close to a real trading platform that the pros would use, um, I probably recommend MotiWave, not for a variety of reasons. What you have to understand is when you build out a trading platform, you have to worry about all the heavy lifting when it comes to the database, connectivity, market data, blah blah blah, all that stuff. And that without that you're not going anywhere. And then you have to maintain it, and then you start trading, and then you start building your trading algos on top of that. So why kill yourself? Why recreate the wheel when you can use a platform like MotoWave and just focus on the trading ideas, and build out your own the two different components of the software development kit coming out of MotoWave. There's the same thing as what people call an indicator. They call it a study. So that's the indicator. We'll call it that. And if you want to automate the indicator to do orders and execute trades, that's where your strategy comes in. So you can combine different studies and indicators under different conditions for your entry and exit, and then turn it into an automated trading strategy all in Java. So the nice thing about the approach here, you are focusing on your algo development. Uh, the API or SDK software development kit is quite open. You're somewhat limited on what you can do when you want to talk to the outside world. I've seen it kind of blow up here and there, but you need a ton of memory to do it, but it can be done. So as long as you can talk to the outside world through a database, in my case, I'd probably recommend Redis. And from there, you can do all kinds of things. It's pretty robust. You can build out your own custom algos if you wanted, and just use the the MotoWave uh, strategy SDK just to do the charting and executing the trades. And you can build out your own algorithms within that code of the strategy code, and it's all done in Java. And the other thing is it's on Linux. So again, you can see what I'm saying here is you can focus on Java, building out your experience with Java. You can also experience working with all the different, and there's like 300 different um, indicators or studies in there that you can refer to in their source code with that. It's the only, I like to call it an ecosystem. It's the only ecosystem that has that, like 300 uh, sample codes, sample projects and whatnot you can get out of that. I'd recommend taking a look at that. It's probably your easiest path, and also the keyword quickest path. If they're strong in Java, to transition from Python, Java, and then ultimately, if you want career, C++ shouldn't really bother you, because what you're after when it comes to the accessible way to really build out something as trading ideas and implementing those ideas and actually do live trading. um, you want to do it, as I said, the quickest path, and you also want to do it in something like Linux as well, because that way you get into the mentality how Linux works. And I would say a high percentage of the HFT shops, trading shops, will be working in Linux. Not a graphical user interface of Linux, but more of a just not, you're not using Windows and you're not using Mac OS. So getting into that mindset of working with Linux will definitely help you out. And then you can add that as your experience with Linux as well, using a platform like MotoWave. And at the same time, you can work on your trading ideas, implement your trading ideas, get a live trading account, see how you do. And as I said in that one other video, you can use that, add that to your resume as a track record. And then if you're using a and they have well, Motorway supports over 30 different what they call connections, which include your data and or the exchange. In my case, I'm using there's three three exchanges that they support for crypto: Binance, Coinbase, Kraken. Kraken I use, they're best at it for customer support. They also support the interactive brokers. Again, it's pretty well everything on interactive brokers, including crypto, depending on where you live. And then the other one is Owanda for Forex and CFD. But they also support a lot of other Forex brokers. So there's a lot of advantages there. My combination, what I use for interactive brokers, the data on interactive brokers sucks. So somebody on their forum came up with a pretty neat idea of using a data provider called DXFeed. They're actually based out of Germany, and they're really good. And I'd recommend them combined with interactive brokers. Obviously, you got to work with the TWS, the software trading workstation, and you can still start building out your own trading ideas, actually implement them. That's fine. The back testing capability, MotoWave is bar none. I'm not seeing anything as easy to work. Push a button, you see the results, and then you can quote unquote optimize it, and then you can do also at the same time push another button to get the projected uh, trading history based upon your back testing. All literally pushing buttons. It's amazing. It's probably one of the strongest features of MotoWave. Also, with MotoWave, the other thing is they got so many indicators on it or studies, hundreds. It's literally endless. So if you enter in that world, it will definitely strengthen your trading from a technical perspective, technical analysis perspective. I do that. I do know that's kind of important, and implement those trading ideas again into your code. See how it does. Live trade it and get something that may work. Now you may think this is not quant, but it's not about that. Part of it that you want to demonstrate to any, let's say, recruiter is your capabilities of your trading skills. As I said, the trading skills are probably the most important of anything because you have to show your passion for trading. You have to show how well you do in a live trading environment as a trader, because that's if you're going after the high end quant research jobs, this is exactly the area that you have to shine in terms of trading ideas. And as I said, you can put in your own algorithms in the Java code in your strategy in MotoWave to really see how they do. And then let's say you do it in interactive brokers, and then you get a third party verified trading account if you do really, really well. Um, and you can verify it through a third party, verify real time, and you put that in as part of your resume. I swear you will be you'll be front of the line for access to get these jobs. That's the approach I would take and consider if you're really serious about doing this. Because I said I've got the capabilities to like make a prediction yesterday and quite literally get the chairman of the Federal Reserve kind of like honoring what I projected the next day. I didn't expect that, and as a result, that heavily impacts the stock market today and probably for the next few days because it brings down uh, the positive um, encouragement that a lot of traders look for in terms of the rally and stuff, and it probably cools off um, the trading community and traders in Wall Street and whatnot. And guess what? With what I also defined, I already know where the money's going because I saw it yesterday. And knowing that you could trade with that mind and make money, and that's the sort of thing that um, these recruiters hiring staff at these firms look for these type of ideas. One other thing I did not mention is you might want to open up your own YouTube channel, your own social presence, because if you put yourself on camera like what I'm doing now, that's going to again put you at the front of the line, explaining what you're doing live to people. I think that's going to really help out. If you're one of these shy people that doesn't want to be on camera, and maybe your English might not be the best. I know there's many factors here, but I'm just trying to give you tips on what will get you front of the line. And if you're not able to get yourself in front of a camera, it shows that you don't have confidence in yourself. You don't have confidence in what you're doing. Doesn't have you show you don't have confidence in your ideas, your implementation, and especially the results. If you have positive confidence in your results, you will be put at front of the line because they'll see it. Right now, I'm seeing companies want to see you on camera because it showcases your confidence. And when you stick your neck out and you put yourself publicly and where people can basically flame you in a negative way. You're not afraid of it. Again, that's something that says a very positive thing that could put you at the front of the line, on top of your GitHub and whatnot. So factor that in as well. Very important to know these things. And I think that can be said globally for any firm, any hiring, because the gatekeepers initially are the recruiters. Okay. And then once you can get past all that funky stuff, then that's where the hiring manager for the actual position, maybe might be the team lead or whatnot, will be interviewing you, as they're going to be part of that team that they're going to supervise. So they have to look good too. That's one of the reasons why they go after the high end schools, because they're going to, hire some graduate from, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm putting down, but in the middle of, I don't want, like a garage operation college or some private college or a cornfield college, like a no name college. And that hiring manager and that boss hired you and you didn't work out. Well, the upstairs people are going to come down on that person that put you in that position, and the team leader, that supervisor, will also get questioned. So that's one of the reasons why these firms are very careful who they hire, because they have to protect their own, cover their own ass, CYA, to ensure that they're able to get the right hires that they bring in and do the job and do it very successfully and not take a chance. So that's one of the reasons why they go after the Ivy League schools as well. So we'll leave it at that. Bunch to chew on today. I know I might come back later today and talk about some other stuff depending upon the comments I get. But so far, that's what I got. And people seem to like this format. YouTube, right, likes this format, which is rare, as well. So I'm open. Whatever you want to see, just let me know. All right. Thanks. Have a good day.